Hey y'all, I hope the community's doing well. I'm here with the band Laveer. They are a pop indie band out of Columbus. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are tuning in who might not have heard you guys. So if you want to maybe say your names and what role you have in Laveer.
Yeah, I'm Matt. I play guitar.
I'm Eric, and I play drums.
I'm Sam. I'm the lead vocalist, and I play keys.
I'm Jordan. I play bass.
Matt, Eric, Sam, and Jordan. Nice to meet you guys.
You too, dude.
So is there like a little founding story or maybe a cool incident on how you guys all came to be?
I guess it's not that interesting. We grew up together.
Okay.
Yeah, we were friends kind of before we were a band, mainly. Like Sam and Jordan here have known each other since like
Birth.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Eric and I got to know them later on, and so we were friends to kind of start out with, and just like all had kind of different interests in music, and eventually that kind of naturally became the band, and we've kind of been doing it ever since, and it's
Cool.
grown and evolved. But
Were you guys listening to like some of the same bands growing up?
Growing up, it's funny that you say that. I feel like we're more similar now in our tastes than we were when we first met, which might have honestly helped our sound and kind of our interest in writing music together. But I think looking back, occasionally I'll go back into like my Apple Music and I'm like, what was I listening to?
I think that's everyone, right? That one old song comes back on and it's real cringe. You're just like, eh.
It's a guilty pleasure, but it's still a pleasure. So.
Okay, sweet. So is there like a music class, or you guys just all decided, fuck it, let's make a band?
Yeah. I know for me, I was classically trained on piano like since I was 7 to 18. And so I kind of had a good background in music, and Jordan played a little bit of piano, but he picked up bass. It kind of, I feel like it was necessity that you guys picked it up, and for me singing too, because I did not sing before we started what we would call this band. So
I didn't play drums, and they were just like,
yeah,
we need a drummer. You're playing drums.
same thing for me with guitar. I didn't play, and then it was like, well, the guitar player. Just out of necessity.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad you guys all came together. I really enjoy your music.
thanks, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. And how about so you guys have known each other for a while and became a band how many years ago?
10.
Ooh,
Yeah, I think we just crossed the 10-year mark.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Thanks.
So was there like a specific point where you're just like, damn, like we really did it. We're like actually in a band.
Well,
Kind of. Like,
there's 2 points. There's like
Okay.
whole beginning of like when we came together and we played our first show, and then there was a kind of a second point. I'll let Matt explain it. He does a good job of explaining
all right, that's debatable. But so like the first point he was mentioning was like when we were first kind of all together. So like the three of us, me, Jordan, and Sam, didn't have a drummer for a long time, and we're just kind of, playing around. And then eventually we convinced Eric that he should learn drums and play with us. And kind of after a while of practicing, we had our first show, and we were little guys back then, and it was very exciting for us. So that was like a defining moment for sure. And then
Where was that show at? What venue?
it was called Espresso Yourself.
just like a small cafe.
I don't think it's there anymore. Yeah, it's like a cafe with like kind of like a bigger stage for like a cafe setting. I think it was in Powell.
Powell, Ohio.
Okay.
Kind of right in the old downtown area.
There's an urban legend that shortly after we played, the music was so bad that the place burned down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't buy that.
That was the first thing that like
Okay, cool.
that kind of came to my mind. And then Eric pointed out that we also kind of had like maybe like 4 or 5 years down the road after that, we kind of like had our like kind of epiphany, I guess, of like we were kind of like, I don't know how to like
and we liked a lot of different.
I don't want to say like we weren't taking it seriously, but because like we don't take ourselves super seriously still, but like we were just kind of like going through the motions, and we kind of just had a moment where like, do we need to reevaluate? And so we like kind of changed up our genre, I guess, too, because
Mhm.
we were playing kind of like more in line with like alternative indie rock kind of stuff, and then we kind of reevaluated and started playing more pop and kind of like defined ourselves a lot better. So that was kind of like point number two.
Awesome.
It
I
was
love
pretty-
that artists can have some self-reflection on their own work. What were you gonna say?
No, I think it was also an especially watershed moment because we were playing live. Like it was like a specific show where it
Oh, yeah.
happened, and it was we came back and we just completely were like, what just happened? Did we sound good? Was there anything good that came out of that? The people were super sweet at the venue. The crowd was great, but we just kind of were like, just had that moment where we were not entirely sure we were doing it properly, if that makes sense. So
Did you
And that's-
feel like your
Oh, wow.
music wasn't authentic? Like you felt like it didn't represent what you guys wanted it to?
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it,
Yeah.
honestly.
Okay.
We just felt like that wasn't us anymore. So.
not
So
for
I'm
lack-
guessing now that, so now your performances, do you feel that like they're more authentic? And
Oh, yeah.
you kind of get that vibe from the crowd that they're feeling that too?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely
Okay.
changed better after that.
Cool, that's good to hear. So you guys had a chance to perform this summer?
Yeah, we actually played in end of July. We just played a small music festival called the Ohio Creatives Festival. We headlined the first night, and it was a great time. It was an amazing show, and
a lot of fun.
Okay. And anything coming up? I mean, I would love to see you guys in Columbus.
yeah, we've been working on booking some stuff. Currently, there's nothing scheduled for this year, but
Okay.
if anything comes through, we're definitely gonna make some updates and get
We'll
the
let
word
you know.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'll look out on your Instagram page. And how about like favorite venues in Columbus? Any off the top of your guys' heads?
Good question. We're always like I think we're more of a fan of like outdoor settings. Like whenever we
Okay.
play like smaller like music festivals and stuff, that's always kind of more fun. So not exactly a venue, but
Mhm.
Played at Scully's a few times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, that's a classic.
yeah,
I'm just a stagehand at a few venues in Columbus.
nice.
Mhm.
Nice.
And you said you had a show this past July. Could you feel just a difference in the crowd versus like now versus pre-pandemic?
I think personally, in the moment, I kind of even told them, I said, it's really good to be back kind of in this atmosphere
Mhm.
because it's definitely missed. Even going to shows and seeing people perform live, like being and experiencing it yourself, like that's such an awesome experience. And so it's good to be back in that. Was it different? I don't know. I think it just, for me personally, it felt like it had been so long that it was just nice to be in it again. And I
Okay.
think people were like just happy to be there. They weren't really. Sometimes you get into shows where people are reserved and kind of like, I don't know, and it takes a while to win the crowd. But it seems like people are more quickly on your side in this
Mhm.
kind of climate.
Yeah, most people are a bit ready to to be,
Get up and
out
go.
and about and just be free again.
It was
Yeah, I
definitely-
definitely get that from going to concerts. I think people dancing more,
Yeah.
they're getting in the groove a little quicker, like you guys said.
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I just think that pandemic really just showed me how much concerts matter to my life. Just having like a show a week in advance to look forward to.
Yeah, definitely.
And so maybe there's some artists who wanted to start performing during the pandemic, but obviously couldn't. Is there any advice you would give them?
I would say practice a ton because it was
Mhm.
weird. Kind of going back to that, felt very like rusty. Like it didn't feel awkward, but it was just kind of like shaking the dust off. I kind of underestimated that aspect of it.
And
Okay.
something that I tell a lot of people, especially younger people, have asked me and just talked to me about it that I respect at a young age. I just tell them like it's a communal experience. So in some ways, you definitely have to win the people over. There are moments in the show where you have to kind of earn their trust so you can lead them in a certain place. But at the same time, they're there just to enjoy the experience and kind of have a good time. And you want to take them to the place where they can have a good time and enjoy it with them.
Mm-hmm. So would you say you kind of need to be having a good time for them to
For
feed
sure.
off of you? Yeah. Okay.
You have to
It's a
already
reciprocal. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
be there already to start leading them because they aren't there yet.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely heard from artists like talking about performing on a live stream versus at a live actual concert, and just not being able to feel the energy and see how the crowd's reacting is just a big difference.
We have a few, like I have a friend that's a DJ, and I think that's super duper weird for him because that's such an important relationship to have between the DJ and the crowd. And then I also heard, it was a long time ago, we were listening to a podcast and it had T-Pain on it. And he was like, I love this. He was like, this is like, because he's an introvert. So he was like, this is exactly how I want to perform. So it's just funny to hear all of the dichotomies between how people feel about certain things. So.
Yeah, definitely true. So now let's get talking about your recent single, Surefire.
Yeah.
I personally really enjoyed the song. I think it fits with the vibe you were talking about earlier, how you're trying to change yourself a little bit. But is there any particular part of that song, or maybe an aspect that you guys really enjoyed that you want to share?
I mean, the first thing to me, what I think about when I think of Surefire is kind of like, I don't know how to put it without being super vague, but just like the overall feel of the song, like it feels kind of like nostalgic in a way without being like, I don't know, like an overly like it has like 80s inspired influence for sure, but like it feels modern and
It's not too on the nose with the callbacks.
Yeah, it feels modern and nostalgic at the same time. So for me, that's what jumps out. I don't know if you guys have different opinions.
Well, when we performed it live, the end of the song was actually a lot of fun to play. There's like a bridge section, and then going into the final choruses and stuff. It was sweet. That was really weird to see some of the songs live because we had written a lot of these during the pandemic, and it was just kind of like, you create it in this room. A lot of the time, the first song and a half, I think we were completely apart. That was really funny. Just to like write songs, record songs, and
over Zoom.
Yeah, it was just like, and then but at the end of it, come together and perform them live in front of people. So and apparently it worked.
Yeah. That's crazy. So this is a song arisen from like Zoom meetings and stuff like that.
This one, not in particular.
Okay.
This was when we kind of came back together, and maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it was the chemistry of being back in the same room together. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. So who actually wrote Surefire?
I did.
Oh, okay. Is there a particular lady you had in mind when writing it?
Yeah, I am recently married, so that lady would be my wife.
Oh, nice. When did you get married?
Actually, I'm gonna have my year anniversary later this month, so about a year.
What year?
Yeah,
sweet. Congrats.
I thought for sure it was about Oprah, but I could have been wrong.
So is Surefire tied to an upcoming project, or was it just a single you guys wanted to release?
I think it's just a single.
Yeah.
Just a single?
We've been recently just releasing singles at a time. It's just been kind of how we've been feeling writing. Nothing's really coming together as a whole yet. The singles are just kind of the way we're going for the moment.
Nice. I was just wondering because I definitely saw your Spotify. I did see a list of singles, but that's cool. It's definitely a different way to go.
Yeah,
And
it allows some flexibility in
Mhm.
terms of writing, and kind of it's been nice because we've been able to crank them out and get them out pretty quickly. We've definitely been chatting about in the future, hey, like what if we did do kind of more of a full album? So it's definitely more than a
Okay.
possibility.
I definitely saw the benefit of, I think with releasing just singles, you can focus a little more on that songs. Like you guys had that lyric video for Surefire. I thought that was really good and well done.
Thanks,
Thank you.
So I think more things than just having the recording, maybe a little visual art. If you guys could continue doing that,
Yeah.
it could be interesting.
Yeah.
It's good to hear some good feedback on all that because
hmm
we don't get too much.
Okay, cool. And is there anything else coming up soon that you guys gonna drop? Maybe another single you're working on?
Yeah, we got one it's actually, I'd say it's more experimental for us.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we're really
All right.
excited about it because I think it doesn't sound like anything else we've ever really written. So I think it's just going to be cool to see how that is like reacted to.
Yeah. How it's
Yeah.
how people respond to
Is
it.
there any maybe specific genre you could categorize that in, or is it just completely out there? Don't want to confine it to something.
No, I mean, what are
I
some
think
of the
it's still pop,
Yeah.
but like
Okay.
influences that you would compare it to?
there's No Rome was one. I mean,
There's a specific, like, for me, when I was writing part of the song, there were two, the 1975 songs.
Mhm.
So kind of like they're more, not obscure, but not their main pop songs. There's a few,
The deep cuts.
yeah, deep cuts that I would consider them pretty close to. So
And
I think it's still accessible to like normal, like a normal average
Okay.
list.
Yeah,
But,
it's not too far out there.
but it's just different for us. It was nice to kind of flex a muscle that we haven't used
Mhm.
in a while and try something new. So yeah.
Oh, for sure. I always think there's benefits when you get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it'll be a fun one to play live just because it's more vibey in a way. Like it'll just kind of allow some breathing room and yeah, I that's what I'm looking forward to, seeing how it'll fit in a live set.
Cool. So I just got one last question for you guys. We're all about the community at Community Jam, just connecting artists with each other, whether it's visual, musicians, anything like that. So do you guys have any artists, could be photographers, videographers, musicians that you can want to give a shout out?
We played with Rooftops at our last show. He's
Is that a band, Rooftops?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Kind of, I think it's just him. He plays with another guy, but he's been writing and recording some music. He was really cool. It was good to see some artists that we had never played with at that show.
Mhm.
Anyone else?
Hello Luna.
Yeah.
We played with. She was really cool.
She was really cool. Very sweet.
Did you say hello, Luna?
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay, cool. You guys heard that? Check them out on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to meet you guys. Definitely hit me up when you guys have a show in Columbus,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because I'm really interested for some local rock.
Let's go.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Good to
Peace.
talk to you, Ed.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.